Welcome to Treasures of History, where the secrets of the ancient world come alive. From forgotten Egyptian dynasties to wonders carved in stone, we uncover the hidden truths of our past. Join us as we explore each discovery one by one in a world where time speaks. In 1979, Belgian civil engineer Robert Bauval was waiting for his flight at Heathrow Airport in London, heading to his job in Sudan. To pass the time, he picked up a book called The Sirius Mystery by Robert Temple. The book talked about the Dogon tribe, an African group living in present-day Mali.
For thousands of years, every 50 years, the Dogon people have held a ceremony called Sigwi. During this event, they perform a complex dance inspired by the visible movement of the star Sirius. They believe this ritual helps them communicate with the dead.
Here's the mysterious part. Sirius is actually a binary star, two stars, not just one, known as Sirius A and Sirius B. Sirius B orbits Sirius A once every 50 years. This perfectly matches the Dogon's 50-year ritual cycle, suggesting they somehow knew this complex astronomical fact. What's mind-blowing is that Sirius B isn't visible to the naked eye. It can only be seen with a powerful telescope and was only officially photographed in 1970. So how could a relatively primitive tribe have known about it? Author Robert Temple concluded that the Dogon may have inherited this advanced knowledge from the ancient Egyptians thousands of years ago. Inspired by this idea, Robert Bauval began a research journey that took over 10 years. In the end, he came up with a theory that could rewrite the entire history of ancient Egypt. He believed that the Nile River and the Giza pyramids were a mirror image of the sky, specifically Orion's belt and the stars surrounding it.
Bauval was born in Alexandria, Egypt. At 16, he moved with his family to London, where he became a civil engineer and spent most of his life. Like millions of others, the pyramids always fascinated him. In 1982, during a visit to the Egyptian Museum in Cairo, he saw a large aerial photo of the Giza pyramids on display. The picture had been taken from a plane, about 2 kilometers up. The image was so detailed that the massive size of the pyramids was still clearly visible.
As he stared at the photo, 3 questions popped into his head that he couldn't shake.
First question, why are there exactly 3 pyramids? Why not 2, 4, or 5? The standard explanation from Egyptologists is that they're tombs for 3 kings from the 4th dynasty, Khufu, Khafre, and Menkaure, built around 2500 BC. But I wondered if that's the case. Why did Khufu's grandson, Djedefre, build his pyramid 10 kilometers away at Abu Rawash instead of next to his family's? And why did another king, Shepseskaf, build his tomb 18 kilometers away in Saqqara? Why not keep them all together?
Second question. Why is the third pyramid, Menkaur's, so much smaller than the other 2? It's only 65 meters tall, about half the height of the others. Egyptologists often say it was made smaller to cut costs, but that doesn't really make sense, since the pyramid contains massive amounts of red granite, with some blocks weighing over 10 tons. This granite had to be transported more than 1,000 kilometers from Aswan, which would have been incredibly expensive and difficult. If saving money was the goal, why not use local limestone instead?
Third question, why isn't the third pyramid aligned with the other 2? If you draw a line through the center of the first 2 pyramids, the third one is slightly offset, almost as if it's out of place. Some suggest this was due to geological issues with the plateau. Maybe there were cracks or weak spots that made building there unsafe. But no one has ever proven that with solid geological evidence.
These 3 questions sparked Bauval's curiosity and set him on the path to uncover a deeper mystery. Why are there 3 pyramids on the Giza plateau? Why is the third one so much smaller? And why isn't it lined up with the others? For years, these questions puzzled Robert Bauval, and he just couldn't accept the usual explanations. As a civil engineer, he strongly believed that the size and placement of the pyramids were part of a single, unified master plan. He didn't think it was a case of one king building a pyramid and then his son saying, "I'll build mine next to Dad's." No, he believed the pyramids were designed and built together like a modern city where the roads, schools, hospitals, and buildings are all planned at once. There had to be a bigger plan, but where was it? He didn't find the answer until he took a business trip to Riyadh, Saudi Arabia. One weekend he went on a desert safari with some friends. One night, while walking under the stars with a French friend who was into astronomy, his friend pointed out a group of stars and said,
Look, these three stars form a pattern. They're not in a straight line, and the smallest one tilts a bit to the east.
Bauval looked up at the sky and suddenly shouted out loud. His friend asked,
What did you see?
I see the three pyramids of Giza.
He had finally found the key to the mystery Orion's belt. Orion's belt is a well-known group of three stars that's part of the larger Orion constellation, which is often pictured as a mighty hunter. At that moment, Bauval realized the pyramids were arranged to match the pattern of Orion's belt. This explained both their sizes and the distances between them. The three stars, Al-Nitak, Al-Nilam, and Mintaka, are similar in size and brightness to the three Giza pyramids. A line drawn through Al-Nitak and Al-Nilam extends slightly past Mintaka. Just like a line through the first two pyramids slightly misses the third, smaller one, Menkaure. This was the unified plan Bauval had been searching for, a groundbreaking discovery. And it was only the beginning. Bauval began sharing his idea with various Egyptologists. He even contacted Dr. Harry James, the head of Egyptology at the British Museum. But Dr. James dismissed the similarity between the pyramids and Orion's belt as pure coincidence. That was a big letdown. Still, Bauval didn't give up. He then approached the well-known British Egyptologist, Dr. Edwards, who was excited by the theory and encouraged him to keep going. Bauval didn't stop there. If the Giza pyramids were designed to mirror Orion's belt, what if other ancient structures were also modeled after celestial bodies? He turned to studying the pyramid texts, some of the oldest religious writings in Egypt, found in the pyramids of Unas, Teti, and others in Saqqara. These texts describe the king's journey to the afterlife.
What stood out to me was the mention of a celestial waterway as if there was a river in the sky. One line said, "You lift me up to the winding waterway and place me among the immortal gods, the everlasting stars."
Another read, "The winding waterway floods. The reed fields are filled with water, and I am taken to the eastern side of the sky, to the place where the gods created me, where I will be reborn as a young man."
There was no doubt that these texts described a winding river in the sky and a journey from west to east, allowing the king to live among the stars. The ancient Egyptians believed the stars were the home of the gods.
Many Egyptologists interpreted the winding waterway as the Milky Way, which does appear as a curved river of stars in the night sky. One powerful line from the Hermetic text states, "Egypt is a copy of the sky."
Most people take this metaphorically, as a poetic way of describing Egypt's beauty and serenity. But I took it literally. To me, it meant Egypt was a real physical reflection of the heavens.
His research led him to believe that Egypt, with its Nile River, its 7 massive pyramids, and everything related to the 4th dynasty, was a mirror image of the sky. The Nile represented the earthly version of the Milky Way, the heavenly Nile.
The 7 pyramids on the ground corresponded to 7 stars in the sky. Each star's size, brightness, and position matched a pyramid. For example, the Abu Rawash pyramid aligns with the star Saif. The 3 Giza pyramids match Orion's belt. The pyramid at Zawiat al-Arian aligns with the star Bellatrix. The pyramids at Dashur align with stars in the Hyades cluster. And with that, the real meaning of the Hermetic phrase becomes clear. Egypt is the sky's mirror image.
The ancient Egyptians had a special reverence for the Orion constellation, which they called Sa, or Sahu. Sirius, the brightest star in the sky, was called Sopdet, and its rising marked the annual flooding of the Nile, the lifeblood of ancient Egypt. Astronomically, Sirius is connected to the Orion constellation, which appears near it in the sky.
In ancient Egyptian mythology, Sirius was associated with the goddess Isis Orion with Osiris and the northern stars with Set, Osiris's brother and rival. This theory leads to an important realization.
The pyramids weren't built separately or randomly, as was once believed. They followed a unified design, part of a grand engineering project deeply rooted in religious beliefs, land surveying, and incredibly precise astronomical knowledge.
From the very beginning, the plan was to build 7 pyramids in these exact locations as part of one comprehensive project. The design was made all at once, though the construction might have taken 100 to even 200 years to complete. That wasn't an issue. It's not like King Khufu just decided to build his pyramid in Giza. And then his successor Khafre said, I'll build mine next to his. That story doesn't hold up.
The idea that each king chose his pyramid spot and design freely is clearly inaccurate. And the story that the bent pyramid was a mistake, that the angle was changed mid-construction, which led to the building of the red pyramid nearby, is also incorrect according to Robert's theory.
And as we'll see in the next episodes, there's no such thing as a mistake or coincidence here. What some books call construction errors were actually deliberate designs meant to look that way.
For instance, the red pyramid at Dashur aligns with the red giant star Aldebaran, and the bent pyramid lines up with El Nath, both of which are part of the Taurus constellation. Aldebaran is known in astronomy as a red giant because over millions of years the hydrogen inside it has fused into helium, producing extreme heat and giving the star its red color. Do you really think it's just a coincidence that the red pyramid was placed in alignment with the red star Aldebaran, and that it's built from reddish limestone? Personally, I don't buy that for a second.
After extensive research connecting the pyramid texts with the stars, Robert published his theory in an academic archaeology journal called Discussions in Egyptology. He felt like he'd done his part by linking the pyramids to the stars, and he was ready to stop there. But then a tiny observation opened the door to an even bigger discovery, the true age of the pyramids. The past holds secrets, and we're here to uncover them. Join us on this historic journey through time. Subscribe now and be